Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at a Figuarts bootleg. This is Spider-Man, as seen in Far From Home? That's not right. Yeah, anyone who knows any form of Spider-Man knows this is the one from Insomniac's Spider-Man games. Specifically the first one. I think the same suit showed up in the Miles Morales sort of mini bonus game. But yeah, Spider-Man 2, he quote-unquote upgraded the suit to 2.0, and it just doesn't look as good to me. So yeah, it doesn't help that like nowhere except Hasbro have made a 2.0 suit, and Hasbro's is quite honestly laughably lazy. There's no molded details or anything, it's just all printed on. So yeah, as you can tell, this bootleg has the wrong box. I have no idea why. I was honestly going to praise this guy a lot more than I'm going to. But unfortunately, I mean, spoilers for those of you who haven't noticed yet, but this hand, the peg snapped straight out the box. But yeah, we'll discuss that in more detail shortly. So yeah, I'm still in full-on Marvel mode, buying up things that I would fill up my Marvel display. It doesn't hurt that there is no Dragon Ball Figuarts out recently. I know Japan recently got the new Gohan, and a couple of months back got the Ultra Instinct Goku. The UK sites still haven't got UI Goku in, so I have no idea when Gohan's appearing, or any of the other ones for that matter. Mecha Frieza's out as well, isn't he? So yeah, a bit of a backlog, but unfortunately that's not my fault. That's just the UK stores, as per usual. Tamashii just waits ages before we get anything, unfortunately. So yeah, enough of my tangents. Let's get this guy off the turntable and take a look at the box for all the good it will do. So yeah, as I said before, for whatever reason, this is completely the wrong box for this Spider-Man. I am not sure why. It kind of looks like a mixture of a few different boxes. Like, that is clearly the Homecoming Spider-Man, like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But for whatever reason, it says Spider-Man Far From Home on it. Adding to that confusion, the blurb is for whatever reason on the front, and it's also like completely pidgin English. Like, yeah, I get a funny feeling this is just like a mashup of different box arts that they've decided to put together instead of using the proper box. They've probably got the Homecoming and Far From Home bootlegs. In fact, I know for a fact the Homecoming bootleg exists, because that's where I got the replacement wrist peg for. Yeah, that bootleg is not good. Stay well away from that one. That is horrendous. Anyway, yeah, there's not much point looking at this box, is there? Because it's completely the wrong figure. So yeah. Let's get this out of the way and take a look at his accessories. So yeah, in terms of accessories, he comes with a fair amount. First things first, he comes with an alternate head, which was actually on him by default in the package. I don't think that's the case normally, like for the official figure. I think the official one has the one with the removable eyes, and this is the alternate head. Not entirely sure why Tamashii originally made this an alternate head, to be fair. But yeah, for whatever reason, the eyes are dead wide on this one. Almost doesn't look like the Insomniac Spider-Man to me, but I'm not sure if that's just because of the fact that this is a bootleg and it's not painted properly. But yeah, you can't replace the eyes on this alternate head, but you can replace them on the main one. Yeah, because these are bootleg eyes, they all just look the exact same to me. This one down the far bottom kind of looks smaller, But yeah, I mean, Tamashi's own eyes really didn't look any different, like on the official figure. So yeah, God knows what they were going to accomplish with that one. It also comes with, we'll go through the rest of the normal accessories first. It comes with a magnet, which you can use to stick to any magnetic surface. It also comes with a stand, which is pretty decent. It's the same one you get with the official figure, which is nice. It's also like a really cool design. Like, I wish more Figuarts figures would come with this. It's just a stand peg, and on the back of them there is a hole just to pop out, and then you pop this into the back. Or you would, but for some reason you can't use it just to stand him up. It's either too low or too high, so you have to have him in some sort of action pose to be able to use that properly, which is a bit of a shame. He comes with the same as Deadpool. It comes with a tool to pry open the eyes on the official one, but unlike the Deadpool one, this is not like angled to a point, like a thin point. So yeah, this is pretty much useless in my opinion, even on the official figure. Don't know why it's a thing. You get this piece for his back. You replace that, and then you can use a normal Tamashi stage with that, or you can plug the magnet into it. It comes with his little spider bot, which is supposed to plug in to the stand, but I've already tried it, and the hole's too small on the bootleg. Not sure why. Going well, isn't it? He gets two, was this web bombs? I think they both have holes on them, but none of the hands actually have pegs to fit them in. Not sure if that's an oversight, but what you're going to do, it comes with a few web accessories, which, to be honest, was the entire reason I got this guy, so that the Marvel Legends could have some accessories to play with. You've got this, which wraps around his hand and is supposed to be the same as on the PS4's box art. You get this one, which is a really long web. There is no extra detail on it, it's just a wavy web. Not entirely sure what this one's for. Maybe just a straight up and down, acting as if he's hanging in the air. You get this one, which unfortunately for me is mismolded. This section here is supposed to go into these hands specifically for holding it. It's again supposed to mimic the box, but unfortunately this edge piece is way too thin. So yeah, what I'm probably going to do is just wedge the entire thing in and just use it that way. But yeah, I might as well quickly show this as well. So what you do is, I think I'm using this on the wrong hand, because I think it's molded specifically for the hand he uses on the box. But that's pretty much what you do with it. And you wrap it around the hand, and yeah, it's meant to look like he's holding on to one of his web lines to swing. And finally, he gets two web accessories, that one small, one medium sized. Both of them are meant to peg onto his wrist in between the hand and the peg, and it makes him look as if he's thwipping. So yeah, this one, for reasons unknown, is already snapped. Not going to make any difference to me. These ones don't hold any weight. Well, none of them are meant to. But the one problem I have with these webs is they're quite hard and brittle plastic. I don't know why they didn't use like more flexible materials. But again, what you're going to do. So in terms of hands, he comes with a pair of web holding hands, which have a small hole in them. He has a pair of wall crawling or sort of posy hands, for doing a superhero landing. He has a pair of whipping hands because, of course, all Spider-Men should. I will notice as well, like, there's no, like, printing work for the web detail on any of these hands. I'm not sure if that's the same for the official figure. He's got a pair of hands for holding a mobile phone, which I have put in here because it's really tiny. There's no detail on it, unfortunately, but if you've got a good enough printer, you can probably print out a small sort of phone icon there just to fake it. And for whatever reason, I got a pair of bonus hands. I don't know if this is the case on the official figure or not, but I've got a pair of sort of posy hands for, yeah, dude, those sort of hands. The sort of phone hand from the 90s. But yeah, these were in the same pack as the stand. For whatever reason, they weren't part of the actual box accessories. So yeah, not sure if that came with the official one or if they're purely bonus. But yeah, let's take a look at the figure himself now, shall we? Let's get you there. And a quick jump cut later, and he's now in the middle of the frame. So yeah, details of the figure are actually pretty good, gotta be honest. The web details, for the most part, are printed in the proper places. I think this shoulder is a bit messed up in terms of the, for whatever reason, it's grey that's within the web lines. Not sure why. I think it's actually black on the box art. Yeah, I've got the Spider-Man 2 box art here, just to quickly show that off. Apologies for the dust, I've not played it in a few months. But yeah, definitely should be black lines, but I'm assuming the black would have been too dark for the figure. But yeah, for the most part, the lines are decent. They are sort of smudged in places, which is to be expected for a cheap bootleg. This was £9. Affiliate link in the description if you do still want this figure. But I will recommend whether to buy this or not at the end. So yeah, the white is kind of sloppy. You can see some of the web lines underneath the spider logo. So that's not been applied nearly thick enough. The back is quite bad, unfortunately. There's a few scuff marks and issues, which have probably come from basically copying this mould. Yeah, all the reds look decent. I'm not seeing any issues at all with the red paint anywhere. If anywhere is painted red. Well, yeah, the shins are. But yeah, pretty decent overall. Not the best I've ever seen, but by no means the worst. Like, for the amount of detail this figure has normally, the bootleggers have copied quite a bit of it. So yeah, got to give them props there. In terms of articulation, this is where this figure suffers. The official one was, I think, one of the worst Figuarts figures that they've actually done. Like, this was during a time where Figuarts were trying to hide their joints as much as possible. And with this figure, they went overboard and basically ruined the articulation with it. You can still get into decent poses, don't get me wrong. I will do a quick one at the end, but yeah. The head can go up that much when you're using the neck as well. If you pop the head off, you'll see it's one of these new style ones. If you pop it off and then pop it back on, it gets the full 90 degrees. So that hinge is really good. And it's funny how they've actually copied Marvel Legends here with the hinge and funny how that works. So it gets swivel there, tilt. Tilt is non-existent. You can get some in the neck, but that doesn't really fulfill the same purpose. Neck also moves up and down, back and front, all around. The Arms are probably the worst offenders for the articulation. So what they've done is they've not given him a bicep swivel at all. He doesn't even have one up at the top of the arm, which is really, really stupid in my opinion. But the butterfly joint is serviceable. On the bootleg, it feels as if it's popping back into place. Don't know if that's the case with all of them, but butterfly joint gets that far. Doesn't get back any. Like, it doesn't even feel like a butterfly joint. It feels like a floating joint that's pegged in at the bottom. Which, yeah, that's not going to get any movement, Tamashi. Not sure what you're doing there. You can get rotation. The arms, when used in conjunction with this weird sort of butterfly joint, you can get up that far. No bicep swivel, which limits how the arms are going to look. Arms are double jointed and get really good range, which honestly is to be expected on a Spider-Man, let's be honest. Ball hinge at the wrist. Just, I'm being very careful with that. The chest, ab articulation. He doesn't have waist swivel, so honestly, I'm not sure what it is with Spider-Man figures and not having waist articulation. I'm not sure what that is. But you can sort of get some up here, but then that breaks the spider logo, so that's really poorly thought out. You can go back that far and forward that far, and when you add the sort of waist hinge, he can't really go back any further, but he can go forward a really good amount, but he also breaks his back in the process. So, fun. As I said before, no waist articulation. I was going to praise this figure for still having 2.0 joints, with actual sculpted butt cheeks. I was going to have a whole spiel about how this proves they can still use the 2.0 articulation and have backwards swivel, but the legs don't go back any. I don't know if that's just the bootleg or whatever, but yeah, that is locked in place. He can kick up that far. He has thigh rotation, double joint at the knee, which is honestly a bit pathetic for a Spider-Man. Spider-Man should be able to kick his own backside, at least in my opinion. So yeah, and the ankle articulation is also quite bad. So you can go up barely any. You can go back a little bit. And the ankle pivot gets about that far. You can sort of pop it out like that and barely put it in and get more ankle pivot out it. Just be aware that it's not going to hold that way. You do need to pop it all the way back in to get proper ankle articulation. But he does have toe articulation, so that's one thing he's got over the Marvel Legends. So yeah, last thing before I go is, can he get into my favourite Spider-Man pose, which the Marvel Legends bootleg done with ease, where he's sort of squatting right down, hand pressing on the floor, holding him up. So yeah, let's try it, shall we? And drum roll. Yeah, he can. He can actually get into the same pose, although it was nowhere near as easy as with the Marvel Legends, which is a bit of a shame, considering this is Figuarts. Like, if the official one's articulation is this bad, which according to the reviews it was, the fact that it can't really beat out Marvel Legends for articulation. I mean, this comparison specifically, these are both bootlegs. They were both the same price. They were both a tenner. the fact that, in my opinion, the Marvel Legends is better. Like, the only thing the Figuarts has it beat on is accessories. There's a load more accessories with the Figuarts, but it's also far more fiddly. So yeah, personally, this guy I don't believe is worth it as much as this guy. So if you don't plan on having him swinging or doing any sort of web whipping or anything like that, go for the Marvel Legends figure. But if you want the swinging and the extra accessories, or if you just prefer the look of the Insomniac Spider-Man, then by all means go for this guy. But in my opinion, Marvel Legends is better. But I will have an affiliate link to both of them in the description down below. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see y'all later.